That glow made me pee my pants.
Oh yes, blush me daddy, blush me. Oh.
Hello and welcome back my little darlings to another beauty video here on my channel. Yes indeed. And this is a video that is dedicated towards Valentine's Day that is upon us on Thursday. And of course there will come a Valentine's Day video on Thursday as well. Just because it is, you know, Valentine's Day. Yes indeed. So today we're gonna do a little more wearable, you know, get ready with me look that you can do on the fly, you know, when you forgot you had a date and then you have to date 3 guys at the same time because you know, promised yourself to 1 billion people. No, but seriously, we are gonna do a makeup look today, of course, and I'm gonna give you some, you know, historic tidbits about Saint Valentine's Day. Yes indeed, and of course more about love on Thursday when I'm gonna do a little more extravagant look. Yes indeed. But today I'm just gonna do our makeup, plain and simple. So, you know, let's just get into that before I die from exhaustion because, you know, I am exhausted as shit right now. Yes indeed, we are gonna do some makeup. Yes indeed, and I have cleaned my face off as I usually do with some facial toners and micellar water. So first and foremost I'll clean my face with this micellar water from Lidl. It's their Hydro Expert.
Cleanses and refreshes the skin for all skin types with hyaluronic acid.
Yes indeed.
And then I use this L301 for fresh hydration cleansing toner. Refreshes the face, leaving the skin clear and hydrated. Normal to combination skin. And I have recently, you know, noticed that I have so much uncleanliness on my face because I have been really bad with taking my makeup off. So we're gonna try something new today also. It's the Eucerin Dermo Purifying Oil Controlling Skin Renewal Treatment. I don't know if I can use this as a primer, but I'm gonna use this underneath my primer. Yes indeed, so we're just gonna apply that to our faces so we can get lovely as shit for Saint Valentine, who is gonna come and take me in the ass right now. And I hope that the sound isn't too screechy for you, my darlings, because it is a little bit echoey in here and sometimes it just fucks up when I record the audio, so I hope it doesn't do that right now. Yes indeed, and this skin renewal treatment, I don't know what it does. It says you should apply it on your face at night time, so I do presume there's some mild peeling agents and that sort of shit in this one, but you know, I thought why not use it as a priming agent as well, you know, because I love all these creams on my face. Now we're gonna let that settle down on my face and I'm gonna use the Dermo Purifying Hydrating Care Hydration Cream Moisturizer for my face as well, because I really need that moisture because I'm a very moist little boy. So it's Valentine's Day on Thursday. What do you think about that, my darlings? I know this past year has gone really fast. I don't even remember if I did some Valentine's Day video this year. I know I did something this year. I can't remember, you know, it's not important in any case. It's garbage anyway.
This is everything else I put out on YouTube.
Yes indeed, so now we have facial stuff on, yes indeed, and we are gonna move in towards the priming agents, yes indeed. For primer today I'm gonna use this Hydro Expert Cream Gel with hyaluronic acid, of course. It's a nice little component, yes indeed, so fancy I can die, let's not talk about that. And we are gonna talk about the origins of Valentine's Day. There are several different origins to Valentine's Day, of course, if you didn't know that. Probably you know the most common one, that it were a pope or a priest, or if it were a saint, you know, I don't know. It was a human being at least, who, you know, married couple in secrecy because, I don't know, he just did. Probably because he wanted to have sex before marriage and he couldn't allow that and he just married them so they could fuck their brains out, you know. I don't know if that is even true, but still, that is what I know about Saint Valentine's. But we're actually gonna talk about some real origins right now when I apply my foundation. And I will of course wet my beauty blender before we begin because it's dry, just as my
pussy.
Yes indeed, my darlings. Hello and welcome back. I have now wetted my beauty blender so it gets all mushy bushy just like Valentine's Day is. I can't stand all the goddamn chocolate and flowers because I'm goddamn allergic to flowers and I'm lactose intolerant. How about you, my darlings? Do you enjoy Saint Valentine's Day? Yes, indeed. Do you enjoy getting heaps of chocolate and flowers that you're just gonna
Wither and die.
We are gonna apply foundation, and I don't know which foundation I want to use because I'm just sucky as shit. But I do believe I want to go with this Revolution Fast Base Foundation that is too light for me and too neutral. I don't know what undertone I am anymore because everything just looks pink or white on my face. Let's just do a little bit like that because this is really high coverage, my little
darlings.
Yes, indeed, but you know, we do need all the coverage we can get, otherwise we can never get a man on Saint Valentine's Day. Yes, indeed, so let's just blend this fast base foundation out on our faces. Yes, indeed, and you can of course use any foundation you feel are suitable for your needs, of course. You don't need to use the exact products I use. And you know, this foundation is really hard to blend out with a sponge. I usually prefer to do this with a brush, but it also looks streaky as
Shit.
Yes, indeed. So, some true origins of the Valentine's Day, that's as we know it today, or you know, not as we know it today, because if we did it like they did in the olden days, everything would be really weird. Yes, indeed. Because the Romans, of course it's always the Romans who have done this before, you know. So, the Romans celebrated something on February 14th that were in honor of Juno Fructificer. Yes, indeed. Queen of the Romans gods and goddesses. In one ritual in her honor, women would submit their name in a public box where men would draw their name and they would be mated for the rest of the ritual. Yes, indeed, because this was a long-ass holiday, you know. So, you know, if some ugly boy drew your name from that little bin, you know, you would be stuck with that little fecker for all eternity, or, you know, it would actually feel like an eternity because he was so ugly. And then on February 15th, the Romans celebrated Feast of Lupercalia. Yes, indeed, it were in honor of Faunus, god of fertility and sexiness. And it went something like this. Men would go to a cave and there they killed and skinned some wolves, and then they whipped girls with whips, and it would promote the girls' fertility. So, you know, so I'm kinda glad that we don't do that today, because we would have so many lawsuits on our asses if we did that. But you know, it were ancient times, it were a different time, it were easier time, you know, just whip a lady and f*** her in the ass and everything were just fine and dandy. It is actually weird how many babies that are conceived on Valentine's Day. Yes, indeed. So now we have our foundation on, and now we will move over to concealer. Yes, indeed. Valentine's Day overall is just a big mess, in my opinion, you know. I mean, we have so many other days to show our love on, and why do we just choose to do it on this one day? I can't, you know, be certain of why, but I just feel it's unnecessary. Me, myself, and I, all three of us, has, you know, not grown up with celebrating anything of the sort, you know, so Valentine's Day for me is something very new. So concealer is on, yes indeed, and I of course used the Conceal and Define concealer. Yes indeed, and it's too light for me, so I look like I have two bright little half moons under my eyes, and it's really pretty, I know. Can feel like the goddess of love herself, yes indeed, and she doesn't have anything to do with Valentine's Day, just so you know. Just one minor goddess called Cupid, which shoots his arrows on young couples, making them fall in love and getting
horny as shit.
Now we're gonna go in and snatch my face. Yes, indeed. And I'm gonna snatch my nose and my face with this contour stick from Digazmo of Sweden. Yes, indeed. It's actually a real nice contour stick. You know, it's very creamy, very nice indeed. It's not too brown, you know. Otherwise, I do feel like contour shades these days are really brown. Like bronzer brown, you know. I don't want to contour my face with a golden bronzer. What did they think with when they produced those contour palettes? Yes, indeed. I seem to not be able to find a good contouring palette with good, nice, cold shades. Otherwise, they are really red or really orange and everything like that. Yes, indeed. And I look in the mirror behind my camera, you know, because it's big and juicy. Now, let's blend this in. And this is a really smooth and blendable contour stick. It doesn't appear patchy or anything, you know, so that is very nice indeed. It melts into the skin really good, you know, but you know, it just blends on the place where you actually put it down, so you know, you have to be real careful where you put it because it will shift the foundation underneath. Let's blend out my nose, shall we, because now it looks real horrid. Yes, indeed, nose is snatched and still crooked because I can't contour my nose for my life. It always looks like my nose is even more crooked than it were before I started out contouring it, so that is real lovely indeed. But now it's time to set the face. Yes, indeed, and I will of course bake something, and not a cake. My face, that is. It will look like a cake when I'm done. And I will use this little powder from Revolution, this loose powder called Lace, their luxurious baking powder. And it's really, really good. It's probably the wrong color for me because it's a little bit pinkish in the undertones. But you know, it brightens and highlights like a little motherfucker. To move over to more facts about Valentine's Day. Yes, indeed. Then, you know, when the Romans were done beating the women with dead wolves, or, you know, dressed in dead wolves, wielding whips of
agony,
the Christians took over this tradition, you know, as we know, because Saint Valentine, or you know, Valentine's Day actually got its name from Saint Valentine, and he was a saint, of course, from around the 200 to 400 century. They are not sure which of the saints with the same name actually, you know, started out with Valentine's Day, but they are presumably somewhere around that period. Yes, indeed. And he did marry people in secrecy. Why wouldn't he marry them in secrecy? I mean, that is what a saint do, you know. The reason for Saint Valentine to actually marry people in secrecy were because a Roman emperor called Claudius II actually outlawed marriages because there were too many young men who got married instead of signing up to the army, because if you were married, you didn't have to, you know, be in the army. So Saint Valentine, he married the couples in secrecy, and when the Roman emperor found out about it, he just chopped his head off. And you know, before he was executed, you know, he sat in prison, you know, and young couples brought him notes about how good love were in comparison to war, and that are the first love letters in all of history. And then, you know, it got all, you know, way off from the lovey-dovey shit, and you know, it turned into a Christian tradition where they Christianized the beating of the women with the whips, and you know, drafting names from a big bin, you know, and that sort of stuff. And now you just drafted names of known martyrs from those little bins, and it were not fun indeed. It were a boring time with no sex and no love and no nothing, just
horrendous Christian principles.
And you know, it wasn't until the Renaissance it actually turned into lovey-dovey shit again. And you know, people started to break free from the bonds of Christianity and got a more humanitarian outlook on life, you know, and started to have wild sex whenever they could, like the pairs. And you know the rest. It was commercialized in the 1969s, you know, and well, you know, a way of making you spend your hard-earned cash on shit nobody wants, you know. So that was a big business move in my opinion. Yes, indeed. So now you know that. It was a quick little resume of how Valentine's Day came to be, you know. It was probably real weirdly put together, but you know, it's on the go, so don't hate me for that. Yes, indeed. So now we have talked about that, and now we can just concentrate on this horrendous makeup look we have going on my face right now. But my contour looks really snatched. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So now we're gonna move over to my eyes, you know. And I can't tell you why pink is the color of love, or why red is the color of
rage,
but it's also the color of love, you know. But I do believe that pink is the color of vaginas, and that is why it's, you know, connected to love, because we all know that true love can just appear between a man and a woman. Yes, indeed. So let's just zoom you darlings right into my
eyes.
My nose is not snatched today. Nonetheless, we're gonna make a pink eye today. Not a real pink eye, but you know, a makeup pink eye, not a pink eye. That would be disgusting if we made a pink eye right now. And of course gonna go in with this Take Me Back to Brazil palette, because it has some real lovely shades of pink in it. Yes, indeed, they're not a good enough red shade. I don't know why they don't make good red shades. And of course I'm gonna go in with this. Sofx's Nails, her Revolution Extra Spice palette. Yes, indeed. And this Cosmetic Connections Eye and Shake palette. Yes, indeed, because it has some real nice pink shimmers and blushes. Yes, indeed, because I'm gonna use blush today. And you know, I'm gonna actually start with the red shade in this little palette from Sofx's Nails. I'm gonna go in with the shade called 21. And I'm gonna I'm gonna use my fake Morphe R something brush. And I'm gonna put that in my outer corner.
Yes, indeed.
And I usually don't like to do one eye before the other, because if it's gonna look fucked up, it's gonna look fucked up on both eyes. And this red looks pink, I don't know why. Let's go in with a fluffier blender brush. It looks all patchy to me. Well, you know, a real nice blown out look. Why not indeed? Let's do the same on the other eye. Oh my god, I hate my eye shape because they're so deep set. I can't get a nice shape of them. It just fucks up every time I try to do a look. So that is also really nice. I hate my life right now. But I have a real good forehead day. It has not crazed just yet, which is really strange. Might it be that I used a mixture of this with the moisturizer and that Hydro Expert one, because this one contains dimethicone, and dimethicone is really good for clogging up the pores, you know, which it essentially does when it is a pore filling primer. But let's just try to blow this out a little bit more, you know. At least my good side looks good as usual. Well, I do believe that this is blown out enough and it does not look red for shit. I can't understand how it can look so not red. It's more of a pink shade than it is a red shade. Now, let's try to deepen up with that red shade in the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette. And you know, that is more of a salmony red than it is a true red. But, you know, let's try to use that in our crease at least. Well, you know, those two together looks actually real nice indeed. But it's still not a real true bloody red. I really want to find a real nice good true red. Yes indeed, now we only have this horrendous blend on my face, on my eyes I mean. We're gonna move over to some more pinker shades. Yes indeed. Now I'm gonna try and blend this real pale pink and this real bright pink down here, you know, into this and make it look real sultry and yet seductive and, you know, innocent like a little virgin's
Pussy.
And I usually like to do a gradient from the inner corner and outward, so let's just try to do that. Just brushing those pigments. Now let's go in with that deeper pink shade and see if we can help this out. And yes, I drag my eyeshadow right up to my brow bone. Is that a problem? I realize this turns out to be something really avant-garde, but just hold your titties, I will fix this. Oh my god, it's really pink, isn't it? I mean, it's a true pink eye per definition. Now I will actually go in with the only red shade I have that is actually really red, and this is in this Passion of Stockholm palette, and it's that right there is almost used up because it's so red I can die. It's a really nice red shade, you know, and I will try to deepen up my outer corner and my crease with that red shade. This is not pigmented enough on its own, but it's the only true red shade I own, so let's just try to make it work. It's actually a little bit more red now, so you know, I do think that I can salvage this if I am playing my cards just right. I realize that it will look like I am a goddamn raccoon at the end of this, but you know, no worries. It's Valentine's Day after all, so you know, let's just be this avant-garde, shall we? I mean, nobody have died on, you know, from St. Valentine's Day except for that guy who did die on St. Valentine's Day, you know. Now, we're gonna cut my crease because I have made a mess of myself on my crease. I'm gonna use the concealer, the fine concealer, and a dirty but non-pigmented brush because I have run it through my color
switcher.
Like I suspected on my review of these brushes. This little more tiny one were better to cut the crease with. Okay, so it looks a little bit pink, but don't worry. It's supposed to look like this. It just looks like I pooed on my eyelids. My natural eye shape is not made for cutting my crease. It looks like I have the deepest, most set eye sockets in the history of mankind, which I do have also, but I don't want it to look even more like I am dying than I already do. Now, my is cut, yes indeed. Now, we are actually gonna move over to some shimmer. You know, of course it's Valentine's Day, so we need to do something sparkly on our lids, of course. But you know, I don't want to go, you know, conventionally pink, so I want actually to do either a bluish shimmer or a purplish shimmer. Yes, indeed, but I can't decide. So let's do a purplish shimmer, shall we?
Oh my god.
What should I choose? Let's use that shimmer down there. And that is real purpley and nice. Oh, yes. So ugly I can die. This worked out much better in my head than it did on my eye, you know. But this is of course not a real tutorial. It has never been real tutorials on my channel. It's just me playing with makeup, looking like a goddamn cracked out hooker. It looks worse by the moment. Well, you know, we can't fix this anyway. So, let's just smudge our under eyes with something real sultry and hookery, you know, and get this over with. And I'm gonna use Enchanted right here. Yes, I need on a fat angled brush. And I'm just gonna do like that. And of course, we are just not gonna stop right there, because we are gonna go in with that same shimmery color on our lid on our inner under eye corner. Well, you know, this looks hideous for real. Now let's just use this e.l.f. blending eye brush. You know, I said I wanted a blue lid before, but you know, let's go with a blue inner corner, because we are all feeling a little bit blue on Valentine's Day. Even though we might have a Valentine for Valentine's Day, we feel sad for you who doesn't have a Valentine's. Let's just use that blue shimmer to symbolize our internalized sadness for all of you who doesn't have a Valentine. Ooh, the hooker queen is here once more. Some shimmer on that brow bone wouldn't be, you know, terrible indeed. Try to squeeze it in right here. Just made the whole thing better, even if you can't see it. You know, this could have turned out really nice if instead of red I had used, you know, a purplish color and then faded it towards, you know, a nice light blue, you know. Ooh, yes, real snatched, but I didn't do that. I wanted to do something really conventional and mainstream, and it failed and flopped. We are done with the horrid eyes, and we are gonna zoom you, my darlings, right out from my face. Now, I do have my contour already on, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything more fun, because we are gonna do some highlighter and some blush and nothing else, because that is all. So, we are gonna start out with some highlighter, and I'm just gonna use this. The Revolution Ultra Cool Glow palette. Yes, indeed, and it's the worst highlighting palette ever. But I have this really nice little fake Morphe highlighter brush, and I am just gonna try to pick up that pink shimmer right there. I mean, it might look real lovely now that I have a decent brush to, you know, brush it on with. So let's just try and do that, otherwise I will have to use something else as a highlighter. Now, let's just plop that where we usually plop. Well, it actually glowed my face up with this brush, so I am pleased with that I can finally use this highlighting palette, because I have not been using this for so long. I have actually forgotten that love the color scheme of these highlighters. That glow made me pee my pants. Let's just glow up that forehead as well. Yes.
Oh my god. Beautiful highlighter by. Yes, indeed.
Let's go in with this big fat fluffy brush and just intensify this. Oh my god, look at that
Gradient.
I just feel so sassy today with this pink eye. Is there any steps left? I can't remember. Yes, my brows. And blush. Of course, blush. We can't forget the
Blush.
That's this whole point of this video, is to blush up my face like it have never been blushed before. Oh, and I'm just gonna use this lovely little palette, and I'm just gonna use that real pink blush. And I'm just gonna use this big fat fluffy ass powder brush. Let's just saturate that brush with some blush. Tap that excess off. And now we will put on some real cute Japanese music, and we will just blush our faces to the gods. Yes, indeed. I don't know why I turned so gay of all of a sudden. It's probably the anticipation of the blush and all the pink is just making me really girly. Now you smile through the pain. Imagine being a sad housewife and you're just doing just great. Cooking dinner today as well. Why, yes indeed.
Dear.
Let's just not hope there is some rat poison in that stew tonight. I don't do blush very well, because it always turns out like
shit.
Now let's use that same brush to see we can, you know, make my asshole real pink also. My forehead, I mean. I don't know why my asshole got into the picture. But you know, let's just do that e-girl thingy where we just blush our nose to the goods, yes indeed, so we can sniffle throughout the night without anybody noticing that we are actually sad. Let's just blush up my whole face. This is beyond salvation anyway.
Oh yes, blush me daddy, blush me.
Now let's go in and do my eyebrows with this Wet n Wild Lights Out palette, because I like to powder my brows to infinity and beyond, and this is the first powder that actually is similar to my own brow color, so that is nice. Oh my god, it's really hot in here. Good thing my makeup seems to be waterproof. I usually have one bad and one good eyebrow, but today they look equally as sturdy. We are gonna spritz our face with some setting spray. Let's just give this a good little shaky and just bathe in setting spray. Yes, hey my darlings, this was this look. Now we can take out those horrendous little earbuds. And I will say thank you so much for watching this Tuesday video. Yes indeed, I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. And of course I would want you here every day, or you know, every time I upload, so please don't forget to press that like, subscribe and notification icon down below so you can become a part of the DarlingSquad and the Digazmo family as well. And of course please don't forget to comment down below what you thought about this video. And now, as always, be who you are, since nobody else can, and I see you in the next one.
Bye.